I'm 65 years old now, or just coming up to 65. My fitness levels are pretty good. My health's in a good place. I'm pretty much on my target weight, a little bit over. But that wasn't the case a couple of years ago. You know, going into my 50s and 60s, early 60s, I was starting to feel aches and pains, low energy, brain fog, forgetfulness. And I was in the early stages of starting to blame it on getting older now. And then I did think about it. Yeah, going into my 50s and 60s, I was really starting to notice all those aches and pains. But back then, I can't say I wasn't doing any kind of health training, walks and a little bit of running, but I was slowly neglecting it. Probably wasn't eating as well as I should have done. I was drinking back then. I don't drink anymore, but that's another story. Yeah, you start feeling those aches and pains, and everybody around you's constantly telling you, well, you're getting on a bit now, mate. You know, every birthday you get a piss-taking birthday card, and it was always it's the typical British way of telling you you're getting older now, and that's why everything's declining. But I started looking into it, and I started wondering, you know, how much of it really was getting older and how much of it was neglect. Because I'm at a point now where I can't wait for the next 5-10 years. I did a bit of sport when I was younger, a bit of health training, and I was in the forces as well. So that comes with a job that you have to take care of yourself. So I wasn't no expert, and I'm still no expert, but I had some kind of muscle memory there, what you should do. So I started thinking about getting myself back in shape. And I did what probably a lot of people do. And I've probably overcomplicated it to start with. So then you start your research. Research is always good because you can sit at home, eating your sausage rolls and drinking your coffee, and planning's easy. That's one thing. But yeah, I got on the internet like a lot of people do, and then I started reading about the gyms and the different training methods, and there's tons of stuff out there now, absolutely full of it. And doing this event, that event, you get all these people who can save us 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds and get us in great shape. And it's basically a load of people trying to take your money off you. And I'm not saying a lot of these people can't help, a lot of them do. A lot of them do know what they're talking about. But with me, I took the normal course that maybe a lot of people do. Partially, I'll come on to that in a minute. I rejoined the gym. I started doing a bit of running, cardio, and I got myself in a decent shape. And no point, though, in the early stages was I was really enjoying it. I've never liked gyms particularly. And it didn't take long before, right, I decided I've got to do something, something a bit different. So I always want to do a triathlon. Sounding good. You can start telling people you do triathlons now. So I started training for a triathlon. Going into my 50s, I'll do my first triathlon. Couldn't swim at the time. Well, I could swim. If I fell in water, I'd live, but I wasn't very proficient. I couldn't swim a couple of miles like I can now. And yeah, I really jumped into it. I did have a personal trainer for a little while, very expensive. And yeah, I just went nuts. But I stuck to it. I went for a whole winter. I found some very quiet swimming pool that had lane swimming in a little village type town near me. And at night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, they did lane swimming and it was practically empty. So throughout the whole of the winter, I started working on my front crawl technique and really stuck to it and went for the whole winter. And by the time I got to spring, jumped in the lake and I was off. I was swimming in a front crawl in the lake to a pretty good standard. I wasn't fast, it wasn't exceptional, but if I'd wanted to, I could do the full, 2.2 miles if I was ever to do a full Ironman, which I had no intention of doing, not at that time, and still not. You never know though. But anyway, I went out and done an Olympic distance triathlon. And that was hard enough, but yeah, I got through that and I thought, right, yeah, I'll try a half Ironman. And then I begun the training for that. Sometimes I dropped out a few times, but I generally I kept on striving for it. And I got to the point where I was able to do a half Ironman. And then bloody COVID come along and ruined it. So I was going to book in an event for about May time. I was hoping May, June time. I think it was 2000. I can't remember bloody COVID. But anyway, so I never did it. I ended up marking out a course myself. It wasn't an official half Ironman, but I could, in my head, I was able to do one. So I got to that sort of level. Didn't find a need to ever do it again, but yeah, and I did that over a lot of my training. I just overcomplicated it. I just overcomplicated my training, and I kept it going for a while because I trained for those triathlons, and I was still down the gym at the time, and I was doing strength training down the gym. Don't like gyms, like I said, but our age, strength training is really, really important, more so as you get older. I mean, you don't have to be lifting ridiculous size weights, but as long as you do a bit of strength training. But then I found, I just started finding it getting a bit monotonous, and then every session I went down there, I treated it like, oh, I've got to do this. I've got to get ready, go down. And I had a bit of discipline in me, but then you miss one or two sessions, and then I stopped training. I wasn't training for a triathlon again, but I was starting to back up. I still cycled, still did a bit of swimming, and you start slowly missing them sessions. And before you know it, you're in a rut again, and you're going through a period where, yeah, you might go for a walk once in a while, but I let it go again. So basically, it wasn't sustainable. The way I've trained, and when I look back, when I was younger, I was probably a bit more manic in my training then. And plus, I had a massive ego, like a lot of youngsters. And yeah, I'd train really hard, get quite fit, and pack it in. Have a binge, do a bit of drinking, smoking. Don't do any of those two now. And then decide I'm getting a bit unfit and then go back to training again. And it was a yo-yo type system throughout my whole life, on and off, never really training, just do it, binge training throughout my whole life. And I was starting to do it again. I realised it this time. So I just took it on myself to take a break. and I went down to Dorset. I was getting mixed up. No, it was Devon. It was Devon, South Devon. Got a lovely little area, and I just started walking. Got a backpack on my back, bit of packed lunch. Went down there for about a week, and I think that's where it really all started. I went on a nice, long, chilled out walk, and I finished it. Felt a little tired, felt good, but there wasn't one part of it, there wasn't 1 minute of it I never enjoyed. It wasn't exerting myself. I found that peaceful feeling you get in your mind as well. Sometimes you go into like a meditative state. Sometimes you overthink, but that was a turning point for me. That one walk. So I returned home after that Devon trip, and then I sat down and I reevaluated the way I used to get fit, or I was going to become fitter again. But what went straight on the top of my list was walking, hiking, and straight away I made that a regular thing that I was going to start doing. In fact, it was no chore at all, because I found it was and in any weather as well. I soon got geared up to. It doesn't cost much. I've got good Gore-Tex waterproofs. I got layers. I got merino wool t-shirts underneath. You don't need much, by the way. I might make a video about this one day. And you can go out at just about any weather in the UK, up to about a -10, and have the same kit. All you basically do is start taking a layer off. Hot, the warmer it gets, and start putting an extra layer on when it gets a bit hotter. See that? Look, nice. I don't know if you can see that. Another red kite. There's loads of them around here now. Yeah, so I started off with the walking. That went top of the list, and then my diet, and I started to really embrace my cooking. Rather than just treating it, it was like, I've got to get this nourishment into my body. And it was an ordeal. Like maybe the way I used to train. I started enjoying my cooking. I've got some good cookbooks. And I actually started cooking everything, basically. So I was watching what was going in my body. Started drinking loads of water. And then every once in a while, I'd just sit in somewhere really quiet and switch my brain off for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Something you can also do when you're walking, by the way, and go into a meditative state. So in short, I just started keeping it simple, really simple. And then, like I said before, what's really important is a bit of strength training as we get older. That's absolutely vital. And I'd always look down on these body weight exercises, because when I was in the gym, when I started doing my program used to be doing deadlifts and squats, bench presses, the big heavy lifts, and big muscle groups, I think they're called them, or big core exercises. Because I just wanted to get the job done and just get out there. I wasn't care how I looked. Keep getting the feeling something's following me. But I didn't want to go back to the gym. I hated that feeling of getting ready for it and going into town. I don't like the atmosphere in gyms, and I don't like the reasons why a lot of people train these days. It's all very aesthetically orientated, superficial, and that's fine for these youngsters. I mean, they're all trying to chase the girls and boys, but have they gone too far with it? Who am I to judge? I mean, the other day we all would like to look good naked, as Lester Burnham said in American Beauty. So yeah, I just wanted to simplify it. So I started doing I looked into doing body weight exercises, and it started off with just the usual ones. Press ups, brilliant. You can't beat press ups. Pull ups. I've got one of those bars that go across your door. Didn't think that was going to work well, and I introduced I can't explain it too well now, but it's like a band, like this big elastic band basically. You can sort of hook it around your knees, and they can assist you. Because I'm getting on a bit now. Pull-ups are quite hard. They are for me. Press-ups I was absolutely fine with. I can do about 40, 50 now press-ups, but pull-ups, killer. So that one band, yeah, brilliant. And I just sort of bend my knees a little bit. And you can do perfectly good pull-ups in your doorway. Then you include squats. Squats are fantastic, absolutely. And by the way, there's a multitude of ways you can do like press ups and squats. Bulgarian squats. Just read up on them anyway. There's Bulgarian goblin squats. You can. What I did, I'm a big collector of rucksacks, and I had one that was falling apart. So I put 15 kilogram sand in the back, 20 kilogram, and I started doing squats. Yes, and it was plenty, absolutely. I mean, at the gym, I remember I was up to about well over 100 kilograms. Too much, because the ego starts kicking in a little bit in the gym, but you do less reps. I won't go into detail of my sessions there, but yeah, doing it with a 20 kilogram weight on my back, it was plenty. Once I was getting to about 20 reps of those squats with just that weight, you could feel it. And if you did about 3 or 4 sets of those, you'd know it. But my idea was, when I'm in the mood, I'd say, like, I'm going to do a bit of strength training, do about 15, 20 minutes, simplify it, have none of that build up and apprehension where you can talk yourself out of it. And I've even got to the stage now where, sometimes you just feel great, you just feel brilliant. Just drop down, do press-ups, do a plank, just do a couple of exercises. If you constantly do that, and that's what I do a lot now, it doesn't always have to be a session. Because this is what I found anyway, when the anticipation, say when you're at work and you're really tired, knackered, had a real bad day, and it's always at the back of your head, oh, I've got a gym session late, I've got to be disciplined, and then that starts eating away at you. Well, if you work out a good body weight session, and there's plenty, I'm not going to give you one, I'll give you a few exercises there, but there's so much on the internet now, some really good programs, and they don't have to be for an hour. When you start going in your 50s, 60s, 20 minutes, honestly, I find 15, 20 minutes sometimes is plenty. And recovery is really important as we get older. Right, and then I started noticing, I don't know, I can't remember when it happened, I'm talking months later, and I'm not trying to strive or anything like that. I'm not bothered about booking events or competing with anybody or personal best. I dropped all that. I dropped anything to do with having an ego, basically, timing. I dare say I had a bit of an ego, that we all do, but compared with what I used to be like, it just gets in the way, basically. But then I noticed I was starting to feel a bit fitter and stronger. And just to break things up, I remember getting my road bike out. I've got a road bike, which I've had since I started doing the triathlons a few years back. That's another story, by the way. It wasn't like I spent a lot of money on a really good road bike. Like a lot of things I do now, I go bargain hunting, and I'm not one for trends and new fads. And this bike, it was, when it came out, I wouldn't say it wasn't top of the range, but they were well over 1,000 quid. It was a good, solid, about 11 kilogram road bike. 3 years later, it's not fashionable anymore, because that's when carbon fiber starts, was more titanium or whatever, was getting more popular. And I picked up a really solid, good road bike for 300 quid. Nothing wrong with it. Lovely, perfect neck, and I still got it now. Actually, done thousands of miles on it. But then, anyway, I digress again. Yeah, I decided to one morning. I went for I got up and did a Saturday morning. I had bags of energy. Just wanted to try something different, and I wanted to do it. It's not like I was making myself do it. Went out on a 40-mile cycle ride, and I backed off a gear. Basically, I slowed down. I come down. You know what I could have done maximum. I just come down a little bit, and I really enjoyed it. Didn't push myself. Wasn't after any times. And then got home back. You know, my bags of energy. I could have done a little bit more. Actually, I felt great. And then I started increasing bit by bit. You know, hiking and walking now. I've done a few other things now. Occasionally I'm in the mood for doing a bit of outdoor swimming, and then I might get bored of it. But the one thing that I never get rid of is the hiking and walking. Never. So that's my default now. I'll always go back to that. So yeah, in short, just simplify it. Just simplify it as much as you can. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to go to any gyms. You don't have to get personal trainers. There's loads of information out there now. And just try and enjoy it. Whatever you do, try and get something that you really enjoy. Right, so months later, I'm still walking because I've got no reason to pack my walking in now because I'm thoroughly enjoying it. In fact, it's increasing. I started increasing it. The mileage was going up. And just to break it up once in a while and nobody's about, I just... if you've got loads of energy, I sometimes break into a little jog once in a while, just to break things up. And yeah, that gets the heart pumping a little bit, but it's only when I want to. And as soon as I don't want to, I stop again. My cooking, I was really enjoying that. And I wouldn't say I was getting addicted to it, but I was starting to go that way. And you start enjoying sourcing your different foods and ingredients and finding them, getting better cookbooks, testing yourself to see if you can make a beautiful meal with £2 or £3, and you can. And you can make some brilliant stuff once you've got your herbs and spices sorted. So I'm enjoying that. And then I'm throwing a little bit of strength training in there when I feel like it, because I'm not too bothered about that in the early stages. And so, yeah, months later, I'm finding it's just part of my life. In fact, I was getting a bit irritated if I missed a walk for any reason or anything got in my way. So that's a really good sign. So you just knock the miles out. Here's a little fact for you, by the way. Look, I admit, when you go, say, for a 1 mile run, which is nothing, by the way, well, sure, sorry, I shouldn't say that. 1 mile is a lot to some people, but say you go for a 1 mile run, you burn nearly the same amount of calories as you do on a 1 mile walk. The only thing is, with a run, you get more for your buck. Obviously, you do it quicker, and it gets your heart and gets your heart and lungs working, your heart beating a bit faster. So obviously, you can't beat a run. But the only thing with running is, people like me, you grow to hate it and you end up packing it in. But walking, no, it's just got too many good points going for it. So yeah, I got back in the swing of that, and then you start noticing your aches and pains. Yeah, but they're still there. You wake up in the morning and you've still got a few of them, but you shake them off far quicker. The energy levels start going through the roof. Mine did anyway. Your brain fog starts improving, and you start making a few healthier choices, and it starts feeding itself. Once you get a momentum going and keep feeding on it. And it's a little bit upsetting for me, actually, because I wish I'd trained like this when I was younger. More consistency rather than just going for it. But I think that's ego with a lot of young people. Yeah, and just going back on that bit where I was starting to blame age for my aching and my low energy levels and forgetfulness, which was quite a few years ago now, But I was totally sort of I was totally going down that road where you start believing a mantra or a narrative, too much so. But yeah, what I was going to say is, with me personally, I don't know if anyone feels the same way. There's a number of things that happen in your life where you could really time it to the bloody minute or second even, when you can go down one road or you can go down the other. And I remember that time now. I remember sort of getting out of bed and aching and complaining and thinking, effing hell, I'm bloody, I see it's all finished now, and it's only going to get worse. And yet, all these years later, I'm nearly 65 years old now, and I've got a load of stuff planned. I mean, I've got hopefully next year I'm doing a Southeast Asia. I'm going to Malaysia, Cambodia, Vietnam, and I feel really fit and okay in myself that I can do that. With a big rucksack. I did the Camino de Santiago a little while back. That got cut short, but I did a lot of it, and I was having no problems with that rucksack, climbing hills. And there's a problem in your life or something's not gone right, and in this case it was my fitness and my health. And then you can just, you can put it down to old age, and then before you know it, one bad week becomes one bad month becomes 6 months, becomes a year, 5 years, suddenly you're in your 80s, 70s, 80s. Yeah, and I was thinking about it this morning, genuinely thinking about this morning. I'm 65 now, and I don't see that as a hindrance at all. I feel fine with it. I feel like a bit of a kid sometimes, actually. I'm knocking about in my camper and doing all these different things. I really, if I wanted to do a triathlon, I'm sure I could, but only if I really want to. Do a lot of these hiking events and walking events. I don't mind cycling a bit, as long as it's nice and, it's chilled. I like exerting myself, but not too much. I don't mind the distances But yeah, I'm 65 now. Honest to God, I was thinking this morning. In 15 years' time, I've got to be 80. And that sounds old, doesn't it? 80. Yeah, that number just sounds old. My goal now is, it really is a case of what we do now is going to determine what we're going to feel like at 80. And I don't want to be one of those 80-year-olds. If it happens, it happens. I mean, you can't beat nature, you can't fight nature, and you can't fight destiny, whatever your destiny's meant to be. But I want to be walking straight, with a bit of confidence and a bit of meaning. There's another story I read about recently as well. There's 80, you do feel like you're getting old. That sounds old, doesn't it? I was reading about this, they call her the Iron Nun, and she was 87 years old. And she did it, the Hawaiian Ironman, 87 bloody years old. I mean, that is just incredible. And I saw her at the end of it, then she was getting interviewed before the actual event. And the way she walked and carried herself, really attractive woman. Yeah, you can see she's getting a bit older, but 87 years old. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to be doing Ironman at 8 years old. It's very unlikely. There's part of me that wants to, I did say to myself on my retirement year, I've never done an Ironman. I've got no inclination to do an Ironman right now, but it's in the back of my head. I wouldn't mind doing one maybe if I was going to do one in my retirement year, just to stick 2 fingers up at the. I don't know, just to stick 2 fingers up. I'm not sure who. So I might just do that. I might just. Yeah, I don't know. It's unlikely. I've got to be in the mood. I've got to want to do it. There's got to be a purpose to it. There's going to be a lot of training if you do it. So you got to weigh it up. all this training, and at the end of it, what you're going to get out of it. But it would put you on good foundations. Anything like that does, by the way. If you train for a sort of big event, it does give you a good foundation. So if you decide to turn into a slob for a couple of weeks after training, say for, I don't know, a big 26-mile marathon, just running, not a fan of running, no. It's, it gives you good foundations for quite a while after. And even if you say you started just doing a little few gentle jogs and a little bit of walking after competing in a marathon, that'll keep you going for ages, your fitness levels, as long as you don't go too daft. Yeah, right. Don't pretend that aging isn't real, because we all know it is. But don't let it determine what you're going to do with your body, what you're going to do with your fitness, and what you're capable of.
I'm not pretending I'm not getting older. I am. And none of us knows what's around the corner. But I am starting to think my 70s and hopefully my 80s could be a lot more active than I once imagined. And I think a lot of that depends on what I do now. I can't control getting older, but I can have a pretty big say in how I get older.